Story 1. The Desolate Detour. As the sun began to set, my friends and I embarked on a long road trip through the countryside. The laughter and chatter filled the air as we followed the GPS directions. But soon, the monotony of the road put us in a trance. An unexpected detour sign jolted us awake, diverting us onto a narrow, winding path. The dense trees and eerie silence gave me an uneasy feeling. We saw an old gas station ahead and decided to stop for directions. Inside, the atmosphere was heavy. An old man, his eyes hollow, stared at us as if we were intruders. He pointed us to an old map on the wall and traced a route with his finger, his voice a whisper. Thanking him, we left. But I couldn't shake off the feeling that something was off. Back on the road, darkness enveloped us quickly. Our headlights seemed feeble against the thick woods. The road seemed to stretch endlessly, and the tension in the car grew palpable. Strange noises echoed outside. Rustling leaves, faint whispers. Suddenly, a figure emerged in the headlights' glow. A woman, disheveled and frantic, waved us down. We stopped hesitantly. She claimed her car had broken down and begged for a ride. Despite our doubts, we let her in. She sat in the back, quiet and fidgety. The air grew tense again, and her presence felt suffocating. When I glanced at her in the rearview mirror, her eyes bore into mine with an unnatural intensity. Panic surged through me, and I turned to my friends, only to find them staring blankly ahead as if entranced. I slammed on the brakes and the car skidded to a halt. The woman let out a piercing, otherworldly scream as she lunged at me. Adrenaline kicked in and I pushed her away, scrambling out of the car with my friend. As we retreated, her scream turned into a guttural growl, and she retreated into the shadows. We ran back to the gas station, our hearts pounding. The old man was gone and the building seemed even more desolate. We searched for answers but found none. With trembling hands, we managed to restart our car and sped away, leaving the horrors of that detour behind us. Story 2. The Haunting Highway. On a moonlit night, I found myself driving alone on an unfamiliar highway. The radio emitted static, and an uneasy feeling gnawed at me. The road stretched ahead like an endless abyss, and the scenery seemed to warp and change with every glance. I passed by a hitchhiker standing at the side of the road. His disheveled appearance and vacant stare made me hesitate, but something compelled me to stop. He climbed into the back seat without a word. The air turned icy, and I suppressed a shiver. Minutes turned to hours, and the highway seemed unending. The hitchhiker's presence grew unsettling, and I realized he hadn't spoken a single word. His gaze remained fixed on me in the rearview mirror, and a sinking feeling settled in my chest. A dense fog rolled in, obscuring the road ahead. Panic gripped me as I struggled to navigate through the haze. The hitchhiker's breathing grew louder, each exhale sending shivers down my spine. My heart raced, and I fought the urge to look at him. As the fog lifted, I saw a dilapidated motel on the side of the road. Desperation led me to pull over, hoping for a momentary escape. The hitchhiker's grip on the back of my seat tightened, his fingers cold and clammy. I turned to confront him, only to find the seat empty. My pulse quickened as I realized I was alone in the car. The motel's flickering neon sign cast an eerie glow, and I ventured inside, driven by a mix of fear and curiosity. The receptionist's smile seemed forced, and her eyes held a glint of something sinister. In my room, shadows danced on the walls, and the air was heavy with a sense of foreboding. I heard whispers in the darkness and saw fleeting glimpses of the hitchhiker out of the corner of my eye. My sanity wavered as I grappled with the surreal nightmare. Unable to endure the torment any longer, I fled the motel, my heart pounding in my chest. Back on the highway, the world outside seemed distorted, a twisted reflection of reality. With each passing mile, I felt the hitchhiker's presence fading, replaced by an eerie silence. Story 3. The Vanishing Road. As night fell, my friends and I embarked on a road trip to an abandoned town rumored to be haunted. Eager for adventure, we drove along a desolate road that seemed to stretch into infinity. The moon cast an eerie glow, illuminating the path ahead. The road grew narrower and more isolated with every mile. We lost cell service and the GPS faltered. The atmosphere turned heavy and a sense of unease settled over us. The once exciting journey now felt like a descent into the unknown. A mysterious fog rolled in, swallowing the road and reducing visibility to mere feet. We slowed to a crawl, straining to see through the dense mist. Shadows danced on the periphery, and strange whispers echoed in the air, raising the hair on our necks. As we continued, the road itself seemed to change. The asphalt became cracked and overgrown, resembling a forgotten path rather than a thoroughfare. Our unease grew, but we pressed on, hoping to find our way out of the foggy labyrinth. In the distance, we saw a flickering light. Relieved, we followed it, praying for an end to the bizarre journey. The light led us to an old, decrepit gas station. Its windows were shattered, and the eerie silence within sent shivers down our spines. Desperation led us to enter the gas station, hoping to find answers or directions. Inside, time seemed to stand still. A ringing payphone jolted us from our trance. I answered it tentatively, and a voice whispered chilling words of warning. Panic surged, and we rushed back to our car. The fog lifted suddenly, revealing a road that stretched ahead without end. We drove for hours, but the scenery remained unchanged. Fear gnawed at us as we realized we were trapped in an endless loop, a nightmarish cycle with no escape. Exhausted and terrified, we pulled over, defeated. The road had twisted into a nightmarish loop, a macabre tapestry woven by forces beyond our understanding. As we sat in the car, the whispers grew louder and the shadows more menacing. With a jolt, we woke up in our own beds, drenched in sweat. The road trip had been a hauntingly vivid dream, but the unease lingered. We exchanged relieved glances, grateful it was just a dream. Little did we know, the memories of that endless road would haunt us, blurring the line between reality and nightmare.